key account management. Now, I've been speaking to somebody recently that we're in the process of developing some exciting things with. And they gave me this example of the incumbent broker being, you know, long-term friends of the client. So they go golfing every quarter, very good relationship. Now, the business was lost because the new broker was able to provide something of interest in a much quicker way. So the incumbent broker had said, look, you need a new health and safety program within your business. Here's a health and safety expert. Go and give them a call. So absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the new broker was able to generate branded health and safety risk assessment for the business through the content that they had developed, and also had been contacting with useful, here's a cyber checklist for you, check that you're covered, lots of useful different contents for about 6 months before. So they lost the business because of the value that the new broker had been given, but also that one particular, you need this, I'm in a position to give it to you, and the relationship built there. So the reason I've given you that story, and a quote from Ashwin Mistry from a previous podcast I love, the renewal date in an insurance broker. You've got 364 days to prove yourself, regardless of the strength of your relationship. That should be in your mindset. So with those things in mind, that's, key account management is where I've gone with that. What do you think?
Well, managing your key accounts is one of the best ways of generating growth. So over a 10-year period, the engineering giant Siemens analyzed that they get 2.4 times more growth out of their nominated strategic accounts than they do out of their general accounts. And there's all sorts of data out there which indicates that you can generate high growth out of strategic accounts. Strategic account management is a huge subject. It's one that I've worked in and really enjoyed working in for the last certainly 18 years and probably longer than that. When I first started getting involved in strategic account management, it was desperately over-engineered. So we talk about a very simple model, and some people may remember as children playing with a gyroscope, a spinny round toy. And we just base the principles of strategic account management around the gyroscope. So the gyroscope spins on an axis. Key account management has to spin on the customer. So it's centered on the customer. And then there's lots of dynamic activity. That's all the spinning about. That's your ACE model. So there's got to be lots of activity, lots of concentration of effort, and high level of effectiveness. But thus far, you've got an axis and a platen, the spinny round bit. And that's a very dynamic model. It moves very fast and it looks very exciting, but it's not stable. So you need to stabilize it in two directions. So you have the frame, which is the structure and strategies that you've got for managing your key accounts. The structure is, have you got the right teams involved? Do they feel and see themselves as a team? Are you organized around your key accounts? Your key accounts are actually like a horizontal business unit that takes into account all the aspects of your organization, from technical through to managing the platform, through marketing, through sales, through finance, and so forth. So you need the right structures, and then you need the right strategies for managing those strategic accounts. That stabilizes it in one dimension, but then you need the gimbal that goes around the outside of a gyroscope, and that's your tools and processes. So you need good key account processes. You need to have good key account tools in place, like account planning, account meetings, measurement structures, and so forth. And then finally, this gyroscope eventually stops spinning by itself. And so you need to apply leadership to it to continually energize. And that's the string or the lever that you pull to move the gyroscope around. So strategic account management needs to be centered on the customer. It needs to have a high level of customer engagement. It needs to be stabilized with structures and strategies. It needs to be strengthened through tools and processes, and it needs to be energized through good leadership. And if you do that, you've got good strategic account management.
And some of the work you do with larger firms is developing that gyroscope bespokely to their particular key accounts, isn't it?
It is. It applies perhaps even more importantly to smaller and medium-sized firms, because you're then managing a relationship with a much larger client who seems to have all the power. So I think there's a real set of challenges there where we see a client as a strategic client, but they don't necessarily see us as a strategic provider.